Welcome to another Fun at Home with Miss Heather. So this week we're not doing a regular story time, we're going to do a fun activity instead. But it's going to be based on a book we read recently. In our last story time video, we read The Baby Beast by Chris Judge. And if you watch that story time video, you'll remember that Beast had to take care of a surprise delivery that showed up on his doorstep, a great big egg. And he had no idea how to take care of an egg. He'd never taken care of an egg before. So he went to the doctor and got some instructions of how to take care of the egg. And first, step number one was all about keeping it warm and building a nice, cozy, snuggly nest for the egg to sit in until it was ready to hatch. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to imagine that we've had an egg delivered to our doorstep and we need to build a nest for it to stay safe and warm until whatever's inside decides to hatch out. So for this activity, I'm going to encourage you to go outside and explore the area outside of your home and look for materials to build a perfect nest for your egg. So I'm going to go outside and see what I can find, and come along with me. So while I was looking for materials for the nest, I remembered that we had an old bird's nest from earlier this spring above our door. So I got it down so we could take a look at what birds use. And I think this was a wren nest. So I see lots of pine straw and little twigs that they sort of twisted and wove around each other. And then there's pieces of old leaves, and there's even some dried moss in there for softness and some warmth. And then there's a little bird's feather. I remember watching this bird had a few babies and watching them grow up and the parents come and feed them. So this was really cool. If you're out exploring for materials, maybe you can keep an eye out for some actual bird's nests too and see if you can take a peek at them and get some ideas from the experts about how to build a nest. So I wanted to show you that. And when I was out gathering, I kind of took my cue from the wren's bird nest. I found some twigs that you can break into smaller pieces and weave around each other to make the shape of a nest. And I got some pine straw. And I also found some trees where the bark was coming off and had fallen on the ground in these long strips, so I thought I could use these to wrap around to make a nest. And I found some old leaves that I could use, and I also got some grass for some softness. That could go on the inside of the nest where the birds will sit. And you know what's really soft are flower petals. So I found some flower petals that you could add to the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and dump all my materials out, separate them a little bit, and this will definitely take a little while, especially if you're trying to make a nest that stays together pretty well. It will take some time, but caregivers, this is a really great opportunity for your children to explore the science concept of engineering. And by giving them the opportunity to gather their own materials, they're having to think about what would a nest be made of, what would make a good material to make the shape of a nest or the inside of the nest soft and warm for the eggs. So they're having to do that process thinking to really think about what materials should I use and exactly why is a nest built the way that they're built. So this open-ended activity is a really good STEAM activity for them to explore. And one idea that I had, so our wren nest here was kind of built into a corner, so it had a little bit of structure to go to help the birds get started. And if you want to make the process a little easier, you could find like a paper bowl or some other, like maybe a little box that you have, and start building your nest in there. Also, I've read that some birds like to use mud to build their nests around to help the materials stick together. So if you want to try that, that's another way that you could maybe start with a structure and put some mud in there and get the real good shape and strength to the nest. So I hope that you have fun exploring all the materials that you find outside and exploring how these things can work together and how you can manipulate them to make your own nest for your own egg. Have fun, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.